Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So this is my dialysis equipment closet. I keep everything that I could possibly need in this closet at all times. So these are my fluid boxes that contain the fluid that I do my dialysis with. I do 6,000 milliliters of green and 6,000 or 6 liters of yellow. Each color represents a percentage of sugar that's in each fluid. Green is 2.5 and yellow is 1.5. There are also other colors, but these are the main colors that I use. Here I'm grabbing just a brand new 6-liter green bag and taking it to my room. They're pretty heavy. They're about 12 pounds a piece. The clamp on here is green just to remind me that this is 2.5%. Now I'm grabbing a yellow bag to take. Because I'm recording with one hand, I only have one available hand to carry. Usually I can carry 2 of these at a time. But like you can see, green and yellow. Now I'm grabbing a cassette. Now, cassette is what you use to connect your fluid to your machines and makes the whole dialysis machine work. As I'm in my closet, I'm just grabbing any excess supplies that I need that I don't currently have in my room. And I'm done. Because being sterile is super important, I don't wear shoes in my bedroom, so I only wear my house shoes, and that's just what I wanted to show you here. Underneath my dialysis machine, I keep all of my supplies, including my cleaning supplies, which here I have disinfectant wipes that I use every day before I use my machine. I am super cautious and careful with the cleanliness of my machine just because I don't want to get an infection. A lot of today will be me cleaning, so it will be fast forwarded so you're not just watching me clean and clean and clean. As I'm cleaning, I'm turning on my machine because it takes a while for it to load. So I do a lot of multitasking. This says test. This just tests the device to make sure that the volume is working and things are working. So if you have an alert throughout the day, the machine is making sure that you can hear that alert. This is my program, Dawn Evans. So the first thing it asks is for my weight. So I have a scale on hand for every day just to see how my weight is fluctuating. And this is in kilograms. So I am 56.2 kilos currently. Now I need to check my blood pressure. I also have a blood pressure cuff on hand always because as a kidney patient, I've said before and many times that we struggle with blood pressure issues. So constantly checking it to make sure things are in order. We don't want any further issues with my heart. I try to keep myself calm as I'm taking my blood pressure to get good numbers. 121/82. That's perfect. And my heart rate on there, I think, said 97. I also took my temperature off camera, which also was good. These are my different treatments. I do treatments for an inactive day and an active day. Today, I am going to do an active day treatment. And it tells me what I'll be doing and what type of bags I need to use. I'm draining the fluid into an open drain, which I tunnel to the toilet, so it's not collecting in a bag that I have to eventually empty into the toilet. Now, the machine told me to collect my supplies, so that's what I'm doing here, collecting my pads, my caps, and my mask. The machine tells me step by step what I have to do, so I just follow the directions. By now, I have it memorized, but just to show you what it does, I'm going to show you what the machine is saying. So here I'm just unwrapping my bags of fluid that I'll be using, making sure that there's no holes in them and that they are good to use. Next, open door. This is where I hook the cassette up to the machine. The machine still gives me step-by-step instructions of how to hook the cassette up. So I'm going to show you how I do it here. The first step is to take the drain line off of the cassette and then clamp all the individual hookup lines. Both whites, the blue and the red. And I make sure not to clip the green patient line. Place all the tubes onto the little slot on the side of the machine where they go. And then you start to place the actual cassette into the machine and the tubes into their attachments. Each tube on the cassette has a specific place that it goes, and each should snap into place. Now this is the heater bag that I unfold and put in the heater tray on top of the machine, and then close the heater hood. Now I'm also closing the door. This is when I take the patient line, that's the green, and put it in the patient line holder, remembering to make sure to not have it clamped. And then I push next. The machine checks the patient line. Then it asks me to clamp the drain line. Now, earlier I said that I tunneled the drain line to the toilet. This is the drain line clamp. And this is the main drain line. I remove the top off of the main drain line and then I take it to the toilet. The dialysis company actually sent me an attachment for my toilet so the drain line easily sticks in the toilet without falling out. It makes it convenient if someone needs to use the toilet and it's not in the way. And then because I've touched the toilet, I wash my hands. After I wash my hands, I push test, and now the machine tests the cassette to make sure that it's connected correctly. It takes approximately 4 minutes, so in the meantime, this is when I start to sterilize my fluid bags. I take 2 gauze and I wrap it around each connector, and then I pour a high-level disinfectant that is specifically for dialysis connectors onto the gauze, and I let it soak. I move my machine into place, and now I continue to follow the directions. This is the part of the setup where I connect the actual cassette to my dialysis fluid lines. I wear gloves. I also put on a mask because we carry a lot of germs in our mouth, so you have to cover your mouth when you're hooking up anything. The machine tells me which lines to actually use. So here I'm detangling and disinfecting. The disinfectant is so strong, it actually starts to remove your fingerprints. So I wear gloves. I've connected my first line. Now I'm going to connect my second. Once again, I disinfect. And then I connect them. Now the next stage is the priming stage. In order to prime, you have to break the seal on the dialysis fluid bag in order for the fluid to even get into the machine. You break the seal once you've made a sterile connection, and then you unclamp the line. This way, the fluid from the bag can get into the machine. Priming takes approximately 16 minutes. So in the meantime, I place my bags on top of my cart next to my machine, so everything's in one place. I spend a lot of time waiting for the machine to do its job. Most of my job is just the prep and the sterilization, which is super important because you can end up with an infection, and that's something I refuse to get under my watch. Now, some people get what's called peritonitis, no matter what they do. But there are certain things that you can do to prevent, and I do those things and beyond. So the cassette is primed, the heater bag is full, and the patient line is also primed. Now it is time to connect to the machine and connect myself. So I washed my hands again, but I also like to hand sanitize and wear gloves. I honestly feel like you just can't have too much protection. Once again, I'm putting on my mask just because I am connecting and I want to keep the germs out. This pad serves the purpose of keeping my clothes from being dyed. The high-level disinfectant is so strong that it usually bleaches my clothing. I also had to unwrap a new pair of gauze and unwrap the tube that is connected to me. Here comes the high-level disinfectant that I pour directly onto the connector, onto the gauze to disinfect. I clean this thoroughly. It's been up against my skin the majority of the day, also in my clothing. And now I'm about to connect it to the machine, so I want to make sure that it's extra sterile. I also take the patient line and clean it because as it's been waiting, it's been exposed to the air. So I make sure that I also disinfect it before connecting. Now I'm removing the top from the patient line connector. The top is actually full of iodine, which also helps to disinfect the line. But I like to clean it anyway. And now it's connected. Here I'm just wiping off any excess iodine that may have leaked out, because if that gets on your clothing as well, it will dye it. The machine says to check the patient line and then to open the set. It's a twist open, so you just twist and you can hear the pop of it opening so that the line is exposed to my body. Now we wait. The excess iodine is suctioned from the transfer set into the drain line where it will eventually get to the toilet. Now this is the part where the fluid that had been dwelling in my body now is being drained out. This is the actual job of dialysis, to do a percentage of what your kidney does, where it removes any waste out of your body and then disregard it. This part can actually get a little uncomfortable because as my body gets more and more empty, the suction starts to pull on your body and it can cause a little bit of pain. Over time, I've gotten used to it. After I'm completely empty, the machine can sense it and then it fills me with the new fluid that I have connected to the machine. After it's completely filled me up, I disconnect until I have to reconnect later on in the day, right before I go to sleep. But the same sterile rules apply. Now that I'm disconnecting and exposing the transfer set and the line to air, I make sure to thoroughly clean. And then I have the caps that I put on both the patient line and the transfer set that are both full of iodine. So when I put them on, the iodine sanitizes and disinfects each line. This one is actually called a mini cap, and as you can see, the iodine floats into the line. And there's iodine also in this cap. I disinfect and then place the cap on. And that's basically the end of it. So I'll basically stay disconnected for about 8 hours and then I'll reconnect right before I go to bed, and I do an 8.5-hour session as I'm sleeping, which is the majority of my dialysis each day. The setup carries into the night and all I have to do is reconnect and go to sleep. Guys, and feel free to leave any questions or comments down below. I'm here to provide any answers to any questions you may have. Don't forget to subscribe and push the notification bell so you are notified anytime I post a video. But just a reminder, I am posting every Monday. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have sent me tremendous amounts of support and love, and it has meant the world to me. I hope to see you guys in my next video.